Hi, Dean. Thanks so much for having me. Hi, guys. I am Maddie or Madhulika. I am the co-founder and CTO of a company called Delightree. At Delightree, what we do is it's a mobile-first, all-in-one employee training and operations app for franchisees. Today, I'm going to talk about the classical methods of employee training, also about the pitfalls of these old school, age-old methodologies, as well as also look at how learning can be streamlined in like employees' workflows and reinforced with modern platforms like Delightree. And while I will cover Delightree product a little later into the presentation, I largely focus on the philosophy and our pedagogy of employee training. Okay, let's dive right into it. We know how employee training happens today. We're all very familiar with these. You've seen folks look at long videos, long training videos, 2 hour long videos, at the back office of their restaurant or whichever franchise business they're a part of, PDFs shared over Google Drive or over email instructions, and of course, the age-old paper checklists that you see are being followed everywhere. Or you'll see somebody, a manager of some sort, following around a new employee, a new trainee, and sort of spending time with them and trying to train them. All of these things look super familiar. We've seen these paper checklists being done before. We've seen the shadowing before, like I just spoke about. But a quick Google search lands us in a universe of communities on Reddit and Twitter where frontline workers are asking for help from each other online, and they're asking about anything from how to work with this POS or how to handle this tricky situation with a customer, right? So this is all over the place. Um, let's look at the fact that it doesn't work and why doesn't it work. Now, it doesn't work, and we know that because there's an abnormally high attrition, especially with franchisee businesses and workers who work there, employees leaving due to insufficient training or for them not finding the right tools to equip themselves to excel at their jobs, and eventually leading them to no longer seeing a future with the company. For those who do stick on, there are wasted precious hours and hours that are expensive to you in simply trying to recollect or finding the right information at the right time, sifting through handbooks or calling up the franchisee owner for specific instructions, and in turn, sort of wasting that time as well. And finally, all of this really adds up. In a year, the average franchisee business loses about $100,000 trying to fill in all of these holes. So even after putting in all of this effort, why is our current methods of training not working, right? You've put together all of this content together and you've set up all your processes, but it's still not working. Us at Delightree, we believe teaching is not training. So let's look at the current format. You have your university style long videos, books and binders and tests, right? These are a lot of content for somebody to consume, as well as the whole sort of the whole attitude of you pass this test once, you get onboarded once, and then you forget about it. You're not recurring or recurringly training the same person over a quarterly basis or a weekly basis, right? You're expecting them to go through onboarding once and then expecting them to remember that forever. This causes a lot of low recall. It's not entirely holistic, and most importantly, it's not fit for the modern worker or Gen Z's needs. This age group is used to the likes of, Instagram and TikTok, and they're habituated to learning in short bursts, and they're also habituated to learning or finding what they need by quickly searching and not asking like a physical manager or a human being who's present in the location at that time. Um, and that's exactly what we focus on. Let's go over a little bit before I talk about the real product. Let's go over the science of training. Um, we'll go over how we can change the format of our current methods of training. So during their training process, having them write this down in a quick pop-up on their training app, wink, wink, Delightree, make sure that you reinforce the information that they just learned. It's like the remote version of repeat after me. The same app then asking them to pause and do the thing that they just learned, snap a picture as a proof of for their manager to look at later, and gets them hands-on on the job training. And think of this as remote shadowing, right? Also sprinkling their learning with short quizzes that aim at a very low pressure learning environment, instead of a very university style grading scenario, keeps them pumped and eager to keep doing better and track their progress. And finally, awarding them digital copies of awards and certificates and for what they learned, giving them a sense of pride and bragging rights. And all of this packaged together and set up on a recurring schedule spanning the lifetime of their employment and integrated in their daily workflows. We do this with our method of learn, find, and act. So you start with having your frontline workers or employees learn the steps to do their job. Then you empower them to search for all of this treasure trove of information to find exactly what they need and have them act on it as well by setting up the checklist that they have to go through today and take actions on. And that totally solidifies what they learned and that keeps them learning. Welcome to the very modern platform for training. It's a mobile-first employee training specifically tailored to the needs of workers and franchisees. These franchisees could be, again, brick and mortar businesses, could be your services businesses and what have you. Short bursts of bite-sized content in card-like format with videos, images, text, tables, etc. So this is simply different, right? It's not our dad's LMS where using it on the phone for workers was simply impossible, and where updating any of your operations and training manuals was like sifting through years of legacy work. This is a holistic learning paradigm, and it's quick, simple, and powerful. And it must seem to you like all of this is a long-winded process that will take months to set up. However, you'll be surprised to know that no, it does not. To train the modern workforce, we built the software keeping in mind the modern franchisor as well. I'll quickly go through our process of what the product actually looks like, and now let's dive right into what the product does. So we start you off with building out the operations manual, wherein you can update it, make changes in real time. And what that looks like is you essentially copy paste your existing content that you have, so you don't have to create anything new. And automatically we change that into short cards that can be browsed through on the phone with quick swipes, and that's how your workers will learn. I'm sorry to mention, we also enable you to write with the whole writing process is also powered by ChatGPT. So you can actually have a bunch of prompts that will help you write out some holes in your documents that you have right now. So wherever you might be missing some instructions, you can fill that out at the click of a button. The second part of the process is, of course, the training part. So what you do is the training paths could be for onboarding or again, for any kind of recurring training. You would drag and drop from your operations manual and just directly hit publish and publish your training path. The third is, of course, structuring this with your actions and quizzes and essentially with on-premise testing. And super easy, quick quizzes can be generated, again, with AI on the product itself. And for the last bit, you can, for this one, for example, for chat support, there is literally nothing that a franchisor needs to set up at all. Chat groups are automatically created based on roles, locations, job titles. Additionally, one-to-one direct chat is also there for those that need reminders on their training schedule and what have you, right? So this provides a very, very good communication suite for providing support to your franchisors as well as their employees. And that is it. We power all of this with cutting edge technology. We use a bunch of AI in the product as well. We make all of this information available for your workers at the palm of their hands. This works on tablets, this works on their mobile apps, their personal devices, and they can just search through all of this information. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's how we enable our 300 locations that we work with right now to do employee training in a fast, efficient, and engaging manner. Yeah, and that's it. Delightree it costs $99 per month per location for unlimited number of users. Yeah, you can do real-time updates, reminders, tracking progress, and all of that, promoting accountability and keeping employees on track with Delightree. Thanks.
Thanks, Madi. Yeah, well, I'll need you to stop the screen share there. There we go.
Yes.
So, quick question, or a couple actually. So on the how does the ChatGPT part of it work that you were mentioning?
Yes, so we use it at two places. One is enabling them to write out their operations manual, right? So for example, a prompt could be, hey, I need an SOP for the fire policies in restaurants in the state of California. So it will give you that, and you can choose to use it, edit it, and hit publish. And the moment you do that, everybody gets notified. That's one. And the second place where we use it is when you're essentially searching. So we use OpenAI's models to give you the exact answer from all of this information, so that you don't, as a worker, have to browse through your different folders and chapters and what have you. You can just ask the question and you get a very succinct answer that will be fetched from the content that that the franchisor has uploaded.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So if I'm a let's say a restaurant, and I have a standard operating practice that I use an operations manual. So if you're going to do like these little videos, do you review it and then break them down into places, or do I provide the recommendation of where, you know what, my staff is struggling in these areas and this is where I really need their engagement for, or is you just do the entire manual?
Right. So when they start with building out the entire manual, they first start out with uploading all of that textual content that they might have.
Mhm.
If they have videos that are super long, we do automatically splice it so that these are easier to consume and they can go forward and sort of approve it, or if not. But all of this content belongs to them. We don't create the videos for them, if that's what
Oh,
you're
okay, I
asking.
see, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Oh, so they have to provide you with all the content, and
Right.
then
But
you do it.
yeah,
Okay,
but what we do is that we enable you to be able to record, just like Loom, right? We let you record immediately. So let's say you're writing, and then you'll automatically see a prompt that this is a good place to add a video. Click on the button, your camera will open up, and if there's some information, if there's something that you want to sort of add to a video, you can just
sure.
quickly record a 30-second video right there. Kind of like the Loom concept.
And do you have let's say someone could you be used in conjunction, obviously, and I agree with you. I think traditional training methods are no good. Like I have teenagers at home, and I know fully well what their attention span is. So
Yeah.
it's only getting worse as people, as the world starts to evolve a little bit more.
Right.
So if someone has a traditional LMS that they're utilizing, could they use Delightree in conjunction with their LMS just for that quick hit, and then reference back into the LMS for the full, program, right? Because obviously in any training program, there's a lot of content that is, we still have to provide you with the training, but it's like you did in math in university or even in high school, right? Like you're going to use only 10% of whatever you've learned, right? So in that same courseware that you're doing on an LMS, it's going to be that same thing. Yes, you have to
Hmm.
know that you're going to come across that one customer who wants things done this way. You have to know how to do it, but that's going to be once a year, let's say. So can you do reference links back into other LMS systems, or would you use Delightree in conjunction with it?
You can absolutely do reference links back to anywhere, right? We ask for
Okay,
the deep link of that particular product so that it opens the relevant app. So why just LMS, right? Let's say they're looking at orders on Uber Eats. Let's say
right.
they're using hot schedules for their shift scheduling reasons, right? So you can have Delightree as the one place for your workers to refer to. Okay, if this is what you need, let's say you're a new employee and I'm onboarding you, this is what you need. If this is the app you need to download, right? So links for all of that, as well as telling them, let's say while you're training them, that um, if you want to change your shifts to so and so timing, this is where you need to click, and that will open up the hot schedules app on their app, right? On their phones. So you can do
Right.
backlinks, but to answer your question specifically to do with LMS, we haven't had folks sort of using it alongside an LMS, simply because we are trying to completely change the thought process there, that you need like this gargantuan a space where you have to have all your apps, and Delightree is like just an extra, right? What we're trying to do is that you chuck your LMS and you have all of that content on Delightree itself. And using this, by just simply dragging and dropping, you can create your training modules, which in LMSs is usually completely two separate things, right? You create your training separately, you have your employee handbook separately. While here, they're sort of coupled in together, so they go hand in hand. So you
Right,
kind of have to have your employee operations handbook, manuals, all of it in order to build your training.
right. And what's the, when you're speaking with franchisees, this is because obviously depending on the structure of the brand, the training solution could be mandated by the franchisor versus the franchisee utilizing this for their frontline staff and stuff.
Mhm.
You know, what's been, when you're speaking with franchisees directly or franchisors, like what's the barrier of entry in there, right?
Right. I'm so glad you asked that actually. What we do is that we've built the product in a way that, and this especially because there are so many nuances, like you mentioned, right? Training could be done in a certain way by the franchisor, but the franchisees themselves might want to run things a little differently. So in the product, if you are, let's say, a location owner or a franchisee owner, you would be the mini CEO of the locations that you are manning. So apart from using the franchisor's prescribed training paths on Delightree as a resource material, you can sort of duplicate that and edit it according to how you would like and have your folks sort of be trained on that, right? So this has specifically been something that has given us so much flexibility and has sort of was the barrier to entry, but is not anymore.
Nice. That's very
Yeah.
cool. That's very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Maddie. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What I loved about these three presentations is that you guys were all hovering around the same thing. And I was sharing this with Lee before we started the recording. I was just reading an article, and this is for total part-time hourly wage employees churn rate in 2022 is 85%, which is insane. And then if you look at store managers and assistant managers, it's hovering around 23%. So having, benefits from a Vibra, a reward and a recognition app like Honor Roll, or even advanced training that franchisees and employees are investing in spending the time making things easy will remove that friction from those hourly employees. I was on a previous call. I was telling the story about for my son. He was even just applying for a job, and it was for a very large shoe manufacturing company, and he was applying for a job, but it was just too hard to get to where he needed to go to be able to submit his resume. So he just said, screw it. He didn't bother applying for it. So if you're an employee and it's hard for you to find that information that you need, then you're not going to spend the time doing it because you're obviously your employer doesn't care. So having something like Delightree, which is nice and easy, I can go back and look at all the things that I need to look at, makes things, it's right there. It's easy for me to see and find the information that I need. Um, another one of
Absolutely.
another one of our suppliers, this is something for all three of you. Another one of our suppliers did a little bit of a study, and I'm trying to find out where exactly they got the thing, but the top 4 things that employees care about that really makes a difference to them in their roles is pay, right? So how much are they getting paid? 2, it's schedules. Are their schedules, the same? Are they, fluctuating? Things like that. The other one is benefits and rewards, right? Healthcare benefits, rewards, and recognition. What am I gaining from coming to work every day? And the last one is culture. Will I be invested in? Are you going to provide me with tools to help me make me more efficient at my job, right? And building that whole culture in there. So I thought, all three of you hit all 4 of those, well, the exception of pay, really, but I hit those really, really well. So thank you very much to all 3 of you. I really appreciate it. We will be putting this together, and this will be going out to those watching. You have any questions at all on any of these 3 amazing companies, feel free to reach back out to me, and I'm happy to put you directly in contact with the 3 beautiful individuals that were on this call today. So thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.